Hey guys, Chaps here, and let's talk about Horde. First off, I want to apologize for the lack of detailed guides. I actually have some pretty close to completion, but being I'm not really playing that much, I just wouldn't feel right putting that stuff out there. But this week, I wanted to hit on some various topics dealing with Horde. I recently reached out on Reddit and Twitter to ask for some feedback about what people do and do not like about Horde. I obviously can't hit on everything, but this week we're going to be hitting on some of the more common themes. Today, I'll be talking about some of the not-so-great aspects of the game, but I'm going to focus more on the lobby-related stuff. Let's start with the options available to us when we're starting a match. The addition of bots is nice, but the only other options we really have are map, modifiers, and starting wave. I would have liked to see some other options in here, and at minimum an option for variants like Horde Light or Classic Horde. With the introduction of so many 25-wave variants in Gears 4, and not to mention the praise TC got for incorporating this, it's hard to believe that we don't have any of these in Gears 5. I get that they're planning to add some variants, but in all honesty, I wouldn't have considered this mode complete or shippable without including at least Horde Light. I'm also going to throw out there that I personally feel like Horde should be a 25-wave variant by default, and then they could add Horde Endurance as a 50-wave variant. Or hey, even Horde Forever or something as an endless variant that, people have been asking for an endless Horde thing since Gears 2. Beyond variants, we get into the difficulty and modifier selection. I've made a video with my thoughts on the difficulty system, which is linked below by the way, so I'm not going to hit on that much here. I will say that I personally feel that difficulty and modifiers should be selected independent of each other. The biggest feedback around difficulty that I've seen is that people don't like the fact that selecting a modifier has a hidden mechanic of increasing the difficulty as well. And while their reasoning is slightly different than mine, the end result is essentially the exact thing that I've been pushing for. A very frustrating part when selecting difficulty is the fact that modifiers are locked. Not only that, but they're locked on a per map basis. Come on, don't make people grind to unlock modifiers. If anything, TC is just encouraging people to load up wave 50 and boost them. If I unlock a modifier, it should auto-unlock for all maps. Let's shift away from setup and talk skill cards. To start with, we have the selection process for skill cards. This is purely a UI thing. The fact that you can't see all of your selected cards at a glance in the lobby, yeah, that's kind of annoying, and I would consider that a bug. Not only that, but the way in which you select cards isn't exactly user-friendly. Remember in Gears 4, when selecting cards, you basically went in and you toggled them on or off with some limit as to how many you could have on. This was nice. You could select any card and go in and just toggle a bunch of cards on or off. Now, we need to go into each slot and select the card that we want for that slot. It's not user-friendly, and it should really be changed. And honestly, it doesn't seem like it would be that hard of a change. Next on the cards, let's talk about these descriptions. There are plenty of cards that have hidden bonuses that aren't specified in the descriptions. There's also some cards that just aren't very clear as to what they do. I remember reading some of Keegan's skills in Escape, and depending on which screen you're looking at, they sort of imply different things. I remember I had the card selected and I was reading the description on the side, while my friend was looking at the character and their unlocks for each level and was reading that description, and they were different and implied different stuff. We then have stuff like Jack's portable resupply card. It says nothing about him allowing to remain invisible while carrying weapons, and there's plenty of examples like this. I get that the card description has limited space, but when highlighting it, there's plenty of space available on the side for the longer descriptions. It just feels lazy that all of the details aren't specified in there. When it comes to cards though, I'd say that one complaint has reigned king, and that's the inability to scrap duplicates. This is another one of those that TC has acknowledged, so I'm not going to go into too many details here. But again, what were they expecting? Within the first week or two, people were maxing out skill cards, and we now have 20 plus duplicates of some cards. Did they not think people would care? Was it an oversight? Either way, a miss like this isn't something we should expect from a AAA game. Speaking of max cards and getting duplicates, I assume a big reason that people are maxing them so quickly is due to the quantity of low-level cards that we're getting. It's nice that higher difficulties give a better chance of higher-level cards, but honestly, it still seems a bit underwhelming. Even on higher difficulties, you're getting a ton of green cards. Sure, it should still be possible to get lower-level cards on higher difficulties, but come on. A nice solution to this, in my opinion, would be to have the chances of cards changed based on the number of consecutive waves completed. For example, even on Master, I'm fine with the starting percentages or the chances that we have now. You play 5 waves, you get a card. You play another 5 waves, you get another card. But at this point, each additional 5 waves should shift the chances to make the higher level cards more common. Like, beating a full 50 on Insane or higher should guarantee at least 1 gold card, right? Oh, and an extra thing I want to add about cards, some of the levels seem really odd to me. I would expect the rare cards to be more useful and sought after, but it really feels like a lot of the purple and gold cards are pointless. I get that TC wanted people to get some of the good cards early and level them up, hence many of the good cards being green, but man, these high tier cards don't really feel that rewarding. Let's move on from customization and talk about a few quality of life things when it comes to the lobby. A common complaint has been trolls who mess with your match. In matchmaking, perhaps a vote to boot option would work. In custom matches, perhaps the host could opt to boot someone. This is dangerous though. You could end up with a group of friends that decide to boot someone just for the fun of it. How would you feel if you were on wave 50 and some people decided it would be funny to boot you? Sounds like TC has some plans for this though, so let's see what they come up with. The other aspect is booting in the lobby for custom games. I'm in 100% agreement that the host should be able to remove someone from the lobby if they're still at the character selection screen. The match hasn't started yet, so it's not really a huge deal to boot someone. At minimum, even if TC doesn't do any in-game booting stuff, I feel that this should be implemented. Speaking of custom matches, let's talk about finding games. The server browser has been an amazing addition to Horde. I really have 4 main issues with it though. First off, I'd like to be able to filter based on match status. I personally like to join games in progress, so if I could have a filter to only show matches that are currently in progress, i.e. not in the lobby, that would be great. Second, I would love for it to show which characters are already in the lobby. I hate joining a lobby only to see all of my main characters taken, so then I back out. I would much rather see the information before joining in. We have the character icons in versus multiplayer in the top left. Why not put those little icons on the server browser screen? I find the filters very useful. But something that sucks is joining a lobby and then realizing it's not the right one for you. Maybe your characters are taken. You then leave the lobby, and it boots you to the main menu. You then need to go back into Horde, select Custom Match, and then re-enable your filters. When you back out of a lobby, I would much rather have it just back you out to the browser screen and keep your filters. Arguably the most annoying aspect of server browser though is that stupid error message when it says your group is too big. There are so many times when I try to find a match to join and it says my group won't fit, even if I'm alone and there's like 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5. So yeah, naturally I'll assume that it's filled up. But then I search again, and again, and again, and it stays in the browser. I can keep selecting it, but it won't let me join. I find it hard to believe that it has 4 out of 5 when I search, but then fills back up before I click on it, over and over again. I know I said this video was about the lobby type things, but here's a couple other features that I figured were worth adding to this video. First up is the scoreboard. I'm glad TC has heard the response about this, and I can't wait to see their solution. Hopefully we get some good news on that soon. Next, we have the class locked characters. This gets mixed reviews and is a huge topic. For this reason, I'm making a separate video dedicated purely to this topic. Be on the lookout for that later this week. Oh, and go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss that. And the last thing to add to this list here is just the various general glitches and bugs. I've had a thing where my weapon locker becomes immovable, or even stuck in a wall and immovable, so a level 4 locker full of tri-shots goes down the drain. We had the heavy weapon glitch where the lockers ate the weapons. We still have the bug where Jack gets permanently frozen, or the thing where we can't make any purchases from the fabricator. Apparently some of these are hard to reproduce in-house. But again, it's just a series of small bugs that keep adding up and retract from the overall experience. Not all is bad though. Be sure to stop back tomorrow where I'm going to discuss some of the good aspects of Horde. If there's something you think I missed here, be sure to leave a comment. But don't forget, we've got videos coming all week on these topics, so we may hit on them there. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll catch you next time.
Cease your fire!